Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Yes, we are back at it with a brand new release from Bardstown Bourbon Company. So this is Bardstown Bourbon Company. This is actually their wheated bourbon coming from the Origin series. Yes, I'm excited about this one. So a lot of people reached out to Judge, have you tried it? You know, what are your thoughts? Is it similar to Makers? Is it similar to Weller Antique 107? Is it going to take down Weller Antique? Can I just now hunt for Bardstown Bourbon Company, the Origin series? So we're going to dive into a little bit of everything, right? Similarities, differences, and so forth. Cool? All right. So what do we know about Bardstown Bourbon Company, other than the fact that they are just honestly, they are blowing up. They've blown up. They've done it all. I mean, Bardstown Bourbon Company, they are officially on the map, literally. I mean, they're helping other brands with contract distilling. But what I love about Bardstown Bourbon Company is that the fact that they finally came out with their pure own distillate. So this whole Origin series, these were the original 3 bottles. Now we have this one here as well. They are truly now, using their own distillate for the most part across the board, at least as it relates to this whole Origin series. So they had the rye, they had the bourbon, and they also have the wheated bourbon. That was originally, and those 3 products are still in existence. You can still find them and so forth. You might be wondering, well, Judge, if they had the wheated bourbon before, what's different about this one? So before, this one was a wheated bourbon, but it only had 20% of wheat in the mash bill. I think it has it right here on the label. Yeah, this one here. So the black label, it only had 20% of wheat in the mash bill. So it was still a bourbon, and it's still a wheated bourbon, but with a much lower percentage of wheat in the mash bill, only 20%. The new one, the new bad boy, completely different story. The mash bill in this one has 39% of wheat in the mash bill. So 20 versus 39, essentially double. The rest of the mash bill is, of course, obviously it is bourbon. So 53% corn, 39% wheat, and then finally at the end you have malted barley, 8% malted barley. So that's the key difference between these two different bottles. But I'm really excited to try this one because a lot of people have told me and asked, is it similar to Weller Antique? Is it similar to Makers? That's what you always kind of think of when you think of a wheated bourbon this day and age. So I don't know. We're gonna find out. The cool thing I like about Bardstown Bourbon Company as it relates to the Origin series is the fact that they're very affordable. Like this bottle here, it's It's aged 6 years, and it was only a $50 bottle. I mean, so $49.99, aged 6 years. You really can't beat that this day and age, especially with whiskey prices that are just going insane. So $50 bottle, aged 6 years, coming in at exactly, let's double check here. Yep. Coming in at exactly 106 proof. So 106 proof. All right. It is time to dive into it. It's time to see if it's similar or different versus Weller Antique as well as Makers. Cool. All right. Here we go, folks. Cheers. Let's get into the nose real quick here. Ooh, I like this nose. Damn. So on the nose, oh, damn, that's nice. Goodness gracious. On the nose, completely different than Makers or even a Weller Antique. With Makers, I always get a good bit of some chocolate, a little bit of oak, but a lot more chocolate, a lot more rich, darker notes. With Antique 107, a lot of times you get a little bit more some fruit notes in there, and you also get a good bit of some cinnamon as well. This to me is very sweet on the nose, but not in that form, in the form of more a honey meets caramel and some baking spices. So a softer, but actually almost even more sweeter type of a nose, if you will. Wow. A lot more baking spices, a lot of honey, and a lot of caramel. Completely different nose than Antique or Makers. All right. Well, hell, might as well go ahead and give it a try. Hey, real quick. 3 quick, easy favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. Let me know what are your thoughts on the Origin series as a whole, and if you've tried this one here, the brand new wheated bourbon coming from Bardstown Bourbon Company. Drop a comment. Let me know. Last but not least, please make sure you also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get notification each and every time I release new content. Cool? All right. Cheers. Oh, wow. Oh, that is sweet. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I bet you this pairs very well with a cigar. That is like, this is dessert in a bottle. See, when I sip this, to me, it's not even similar to Makers or Weller Antique 107. Completely different lanes. Number one, what I like about this, everything in the nose transfers to the palate. It's a nice, good, clean experience all the way through and very consistent from the start, middle to the end of the palate. That's number one. It's different from Makers. Makers is a lot of times like very like chocolate forward, some cinnamon notes as well, but very chocolate forward from that instance. And then Weller Antique is a little bit fruit forward sometimes, and then you also get good notes of like some cinnamon there as well. To me, this is completely different. This, in my personal opinion, is a lot sweeter than those two. It's like right down the middle, completely different from those two. A lot more sweetness, a lot more honey, a lot more caramel, and a good bit of baking spices. It's in its own lane. So for a lot of people that ask me, Judge, is this similar to Weller? Is it similar to Makers? It's actually not either one of them. So I don't know if I say it's like the Antique 107 killer or the Makers killer, but to me, it's in its own lane. But this one, man, I can't wait to have a cigar with it because it's really good and sweet, neat. I can imagine with the cigar, this is probably going to be, oh man, amazing with it, truly. All right, let me get a little bit more. Goodness. Wow, that's really good. It's like a good level of sweetness too. So there's a couple other things. Brand new release. So when I think about it from an availability standpoint, I know it's making its way all across the U.S., online, retailers and so forth. So you might have to go to a few different stores to find it, but Bardstown Bourbon Company, one thing they do very well is marketing. And from an availability standpoint and distribution standpoint, I guarantee you will be able to find it at your larger retail liquor stores, the ones that really have like a good inventory standpoint. You'll find it there. But for me, aged 6 years, $50, a wheated bourbon, one that is not like Antique and it's not like Makers, Bardstown, man, you did it again. That, my friends, is damn good. For $50, I'm sorry, that is really, really good. I want another pour of it. Hey friends, until the next time, this is obviously a buy. As we say in this courtroom, each and every day. Peace, cheers, most important, salute. Take care. See you guys.